please welcome to the stage Hasan Rizvi.
How many of you remember what went through your mind when first time you tried ChatGPT? It was released less than 3 years ago, but it does seem much longer. I remember thinking it was remarkable, jaw-dropping even, because for the first time you could see a machine do something that was previously only possible by humans. I don't think any one of us, though, could have imagined the change it would unleash in such a short period of time. If you fast forward to today, AI is reshaping markets faster than any technology before it. What looked like a novelty has become the engine for new products, new competitors, and new business models. We are seeing a major turning point in enterprise technology, from human scale to machine scale and machine speed. AI can now act autonomously. This is not just automation. This is delegation of real business responsibility to machine. It's going to add trillions of dollars to the world GDP. Data needs to access, or AI needs to access all your data, structured and unstructured. We are generating over 400 million terabytes of data every day. Your infrastructure needs to be elastic and always on. If your infrastructure can't flex, you will not be able to meet the demands of the AI workloads. And trust is being redefined. Threats are emerging at machine speed. A ransomware attack is expected to happen every 2 seconds by the year 2031. So the question you must ask yourself, is your data foundation ready for these challenges? For most organizations, I think the honest answer is no. And that's a serious problem, because without a data foundation built for AI, you simply won't be able to compete. Now, what's standing in your way? AI needs intelligence at the data layer. It's not just about matching pattern. It needs to understand meaning. Your data is fragmented in silos, and that was OK in the previous world because you could throw some time and money at it, and you could deal with it. At the pace at which you need to operate for AI, that will no longer work. Your developers are spending time plumbing and integrating, and your IT is spending time managing complexity. Again, it's slowing down innovation. And traditional security is not able to see some of the AI threats. And that exposes you to new forms of risk. Now, this is where the story gets interesting. This change demands something new, something designed for this moment. Yesterday, we announced the latest release of the Oracle database, Oracle AI Database 26 AI. It is the foundation built to let you innovate faster, scale smarter, and minimize risk in the AI age. So let me show you in the session today how we can help you do that. Let's start with how you can innovate faster. Now, a key reason why your developers can't go any faster is because of the number of moving parts in your environment. A typical application requires stitching together many different specialized databases: relational, document, spatial, graph. These databases aren't designed to work together. You're constantly moving data, integrating them. Security and tuning is all very different. Your costs go up, your risks go up. Every time you add a new piece of technology, you're inheriting a technical debt that you'll be paying for years to come. And now, when you bring AI, each of these databases brings its own AI implementation. And often, you're having to add yet another database, a vector database. And this makes it very hard for you to now run AI across all your data. You just cannot sustain the speed that business now demands. Now, Oracle, for years, has built a single converged data architecture. This allows you to eliminate all the complexity and the need for specialized databases. We have specialized algorithms for your most important workloads, your transactional, analytic, and now the new emerging AI workloads. We support all the modern data types beyond relational: JSON, documents, spatial, graph. And at the core, we have a highly mission-critical data engine that we've built over many decades, where you get the performance, the scalability, the reliability and the security that Oracle database is renowned for. All of this is engineered to work together so that you can move faster without wasting your resources on plumbing. Now, I'll talk about 3 important things in this area in this section. Firstly, we not only support multiple data types, but we have gone a step further. We have unified them. You can now have, with JSON relational duality and graph views, you can now have the same data be exposed as JSON documents, relational tables, or graphs. It's a single copy of data. This really addresses a major challenge with specialized databases where you cannot do advanced analytics. Typically, if you want to do analytics on document data or other types of data, you have to move it into a SQL database, and you have to pay all the complexity. Now with this, your developers can get the productivity with documents, and your business gets the power of SQL and all the associated tools all the associated tools in one place. You get the best of both worlds without any trade-offs. Now, speaking of JSON, if your developers like MongoDB, you can easily switch existing MongoDB applications to the Oracle AI database without any code changes. We have a plug-and-play API, the Oracle Database API for MongoDB, that supports most of the common features in MongoDB. We have tools that allow you to move your data very easily, and then it's as simple as pointing your application to the Oracle database for it to work. Again, you gain all the enterprise capabilities instantly, the power of SQL, and analytics that you need on these databases. You can now start to break down the silos and reduce your cost and risk. Now, if you already have Oracle licenses, you can lower your cost even further because you can use your Oracle licenses for these workloads. Now, let's talk about the workload. So AI is already moving from the first stage that simply answered questions to being able to complete tasks autonomously on your behalf. That's what is referred to as Agentic AI. It can autonomously plan, make decisions, take actions. It not only tells you what's happening, but actually resolves issues and manages workflows end-to-end. You can now scale knowledge throughout your workforce, take the repeatable, complex tasks to intelligent agents. However, for Agentic AI to work and to be effective, it requires fast and secure access to your enterprise data. Agentic AI workloads now run natively inside the Oracle AI database. No need to build and maintain complex, fragile data pipelines, no moving data in and out and paying the performance penalty as well as increasing your risk. So how do we do that? To surface the meaning in your data, you must have these new AI-oriented data called vector embeddings, managed in the same place as your transactional data. We have implemented the vector data type and vector indexes to let you do that. You need to be able to explain your data to the models. You must have, so the models can generate better answers. We've added the capability to add annotations to your data. We have built-in agent framework with Agent Factory that allows you to build a full life cycle or manage the full life cycle of data agents inside the database. We have capabilities like Select AI that let you ask natural language questions of your data, build RAG systems, as well as Agentic AI workflows in the database. Now, we also support the open protocols and emerging standards. A Model Context Protocol, MCP, is a very popular standard emerging. This is for LLMs to be able to talk to data sources and databases. We support MCP. You can have an MCP server now talk to your 26 AI database or even to a 19C database. We support A2A, which is an agent-to-agent protocol, again, for agents to be able to talk to each other from different vendors, from different implementations. So we support that, plus other popular frameworks like LangGraph, LangChain, et cetera. So we understand you have a heterogeneous environment, and we will continue to support open standards. We provide connectivity to over 60 different data sources because now, obviously, you need to bring this to all your data in the enterprise. So we have connectivity to that as well. This is going to result in, you'll get more accurate results faster with the full security at the data source. Now let's look at another important question, which is how to get insights from your enterprise data. Today, a lot of your most valuable data lives in an Oracle database. We talked about the converged data architecture that supports all your different data types, sophisticated SQL. It's been perfected over 45 years, multiple workloads like transactional as well as analytics, the broadest ecosystem of tools and applications. And of course, we've worked for years on very high extreme performance with Exadata and other capabilities. Now, but as we look to the future, we see the rise of open formats and cloud-native analytics led by technologies like Apache Iceberg. This enables open access to data in data lakes and otherwise by multiple vendors, and you can access it from multiple engines, Spark, Flink, etc. It's highly elastic, highly scalable, low cost. It doesn't have the highest performance, but it does allow you to do a lot in terms of flexible access to the data. It is very popular with data science and AI communities. Now, the big question is the following. What if you didn't have to choose between these two? What if you were able to get the best of both worlds? That is the power we are bringing to you with open data format flexibility and Oracle's enterprise class performance for all your data without having to move any of the data. We are very excited to also, yesterday we introduced the Oracle Autonomous AI Lakehouse, that truly delivers the best of both worlds. We are embracing the Apache Iceberg standard to provide an open AI lakehouse. It brings the power of Oracle and the openness of Iceberg. It lets you take AI to data where it is. This is fully autonomous. It's completely self-managing database in terms of self-driving, self-securing, self-repairing. And of course, all the security that's built into the Oracle database is available, not just for the data that's in the database, but also to the data that you access outside the database. You can now take the power of Oracle to all your data, including data that might live in Snowflake or Databricks. Now let's look at what happens when Agentic AI meets Open Lakehouse. You get an extremely powerful system that can answer questions that really matter. Answers that combine enterprise data with public data and the best AI in the business. Oracle is not in the business of building frontier models. Our business is to bring the best AI at any given time to you. And as we all know, the best AI does change on a weekly basis, almost on a weekly basis. With our new private AI container, you can now run private instances of AI models to avoid data leaving your control. So I have a couple of examples here. If you're trying to figure out your share of wallet for a customer, obviously you need a lot of your enterprise data. What have they bought and what are their buying patterns, but you need public information as well. If you're trying to figure out how your customers are going to churn, you need your data, your enterprise data, how happy they are, what is their service tickets that they're filing. But you also have to look at what's happening in terms of social sentiments or competitive pricing, et cetera. This is a game changer. Instead of fragmented analytics, it lets you answer the most important business questions. So how do we help you innovate faster in the AI age? By getting you out of the integration business. You have to use a unified, mission-critical, and open data foundation that brings AI to all your data. Now let's look at how we can enable you to scale smarter. Where your data needs to reside and how you want to manage it are important business consideration. But these considerations often force you into a fragmented environment, each optimized for its specific need, on-premise, public cloud, which public cloud. This is what we call the choice trap. These are very high stakes, low reversibility type decisions, sometimes billion-dollar decisions, to cloud or not to cloud. Career-altering decisions, not always in a positive way. Your spend is stranded. You have various contracts with various vendors, and you can't move your workloads around very flexibly. Ironically, this choice ultimately slows down innovation and makes limits your flexibility. Oracle gives you the choice without the trap. You can run your data where you want, If your data can't leave your control, we have Exadata and Oracle Data Appliance, database appliance on-premise. You can run it in the public cloud of your choice, of course, Oracle OCI, but it could also be other public clouds. And if you want the benefits of cloud, but we want to keep the data in your control, we have Cloud at Customer. You can also manage how you want. You can have total control over your environment. You can run it yourself, secure it, patch it, everything yourself. You can have shared responsibility with Oracle, where we manage the infrastructure and you have full control on the database and the DBA functions. Or we could completely manage it for you in the autonomous AI database, which is a completely self-managing and completely self-driving database. This is a unique, we are the only vendor, I think, that can give you this flexibility to be able to do what you want to do without having these one-way decisions which are very difficult to come back from. Because we have the same engine and the same the same engine available in all the different configurations. So let's look at what powers this flexibility and performance. Oracle Exadata and Exascale architecture is our engineered system foundation, which is the building block for all our database services everywhere. It's built from the ground up for the Oracle database, a scale-out, highly efficient infrastructure that tightly integrates compute, storage, and networking. We have proprietary algorithms that accelerate the processing of all your workloads, AI, analytics, OLTP. It's built, engineered for the mission-critical environment. We have recently added X11M, that's our latest generation of Exadata that came out earlier this year, that has breakthrough speed and reliability. Every year or so, we come out with a new version. We've added AI smart scans that brings intelligence or AI intelligence to the in-storage data processing. With Exascale, you have now the elasticity on the Exadata platform, where you can have Oracle databases start small, scale it up, scale it down. And Exascale is now available with 19C databases as well. The Oracle database is available in the hyperscaler of your choice: OCI, Azure, GCP, AWS. You make the choice. You can now run your applications in the cloud with low latency between the database and the application, with a completely mission-critical version of the Oracle database. We have other versions of the Oracle databases that have been available in other hyperscalers, but this is the Exadata fully capable database now that's available in all these hyperscalers. We also make it easy for you to purchase or to acquire this. You can use your existing Oracle licenses. You can take existing Oracle licenses to the cloud. You can use your contracts with hyperscalers. If you already have a contract, you can use that against Oracle now. Of course, you can also buy on the marketplace, the various marketplaces that these vendors have. This really protects and maximizes your current investment. We have very, very wide coverage in terms of where this is available. We have over 200 live or planned regions, and this coverage just continues to grow rapidly. It's available wherever you want it. Now, there are two ways to run the database in the cloud. The first one is the Exadata database service. This is a co-managed service where Oracle manages the infrastructure, and you have the full control of the database. You can run it in a dedicated or a virtualized environment with Exascale. Again, gives you the full elasticity to start small and scale it up. It's available, again, it's available in all the hyperscalers as well as in the Cloud at Customer configuration. And this really gives you a very good way to consider migrating or modernizing your infrastructure. If you're running on-premise on Exadata, you can easily move with minimal changes to the Exadata Cloud at Customer configuration or to the Exadata database service running in the public cloud. We continue to add more capabilities. We've added live updates and migration. With Exascale, you have the ability for thin clones, so you can do your development and testing much faster. And we've implemented multi-cloud key vault integration so that you can manage your keys centrally. Now, the second way you can do this is a fully managed service, the autonomous AI database. This is fully managed by Oracle with automation across the board, self-driving, self-tuning, self-repairing, self-securing. Again, you can have it in a dedicated or a serverless environment. On the serverless environment, you have full elasticity, zero downtime, no manual intervention, basically any app at any scale. Supports the various different workloads, OLTP, analytics, and now AI workloads in a single automated platform. Runs on Exadata, again, engineered for these environments. This is probably the lowest, it really does lower your cost. You really can get out of the business of managing all your database. It provides a very, very cost-effective platform for you to run Oracle databases. Again, we've added a lot of new capabilities. Select AI Agentic, which is the agentic, the ability to define agentic workflows in the database. Table hyperlinks, which allow you to easily connect and share data across your enterprise. The data lake accelerator that, to scale your Lakehouse workloads much more efficiently. This, by the way, is the platform that powers a lot of our applications that we deliver, the Fusion application, NetSuite, et cetera, and increasingly, all our applications will be running on this platform. So how do we help you scale smarter in the AI age? We give you the full flexibility to deploy anywhere, manage how you want, at the best price performance for you to scale your AI and any other workload. Okay, so that's the second one. Let's go to the final one. Let's talk about how we can minimize your risk when sophisticated and organized actors are constantly targeting your most valuable asset, which is your data. So let's start with kind of what keeps you up at night. So I was running IT for a high-tech insurance company for a few years before I came back to Oracle. And I can tell you quite literally that these are the things that kept me up at night. So let's see if you can relate to any of these. Is our data really secure? Cyber attacks, insider threats. Can we prevent service disruption when things fail, which they inevitably will? If you get attacked, will your recovery procedures work? Will your backup actually restore? What will it take to pass the next audit? Now, the one thing that I didn't have to worry about as much is how to protect against AI. AI is increasing the surface and the scale and the scope of the types of threats you have, increasingly. These are real, everyday concerns for every leader in any organization. These are reasons many of us pick up the phone when it rings at 2 a.m. So our approach to data defense is simple but very powerful, with multiple layers of protection. You got to stop threats before they reach your data. You got to keep your business running even when things fail. When something does go wrong, you have to be able to recover fast with minimal impact. So let's take a closer look at how we make each of these possible. First, you have to make sure you stop threats at the door. The in-database SQL firewall helps prevent SQL injections, which are still a very common threat. It's built directly into the database. That way it cannot be bypassed. There is no way to work around it. It scans all your SQL traffic, irrespective of where it comes from, without exception, provides the strongest possible protection. And all of this is without adding additional availability and latency issues, like if you introduce a web application or a network-based SQL firewall, because it's all built into the database. Now, you also have to protect the data at the source. For years, we in the database team have been building data security, ever more sophisticated data security. But the uncomfortable truth is that most applications, most production access does not use these security capabilities. Fine-grained user-level controls are implemented in the application code by each application. And the application typically accesses the database as an all-powerful privileged user. Now, this security model is very hard to verify. It's fairly easy to bypass and almost impossible to keep consistent at scale because the security is not enforced at the data level. This is like giving a guest at a hotel, every guest at a hotel, the same master key that opens every room, and trusting that they will only enter their own room. Now, the risk of sensitive data exposure greatly increases with AI, as you can imagine. You want AI to access all your data, but how do you prevent unauthorized access? Agents, which we all want as many as possible, they generate arbitrary SQL. If the database is not enforcing user-level security, and you're relying on the application code and to implement it, that is a big problem. Because now, in addition to SQL injections, you have to worry about prompt injections. You can, this example that we have, this you can actually try it at home. This actually kind of works this way. You can, you can have all the guardrails you want, but the user tells the LLM that, okay, ignore all of that. I think in this case, I'm the CEO or whatever, and it will let you go through a bunch of the guardrails you have. So this is a real problem. So in our hotel analogy, this is like your guests have become a fleet of tireless robots which are roaming around 24/7 with that master key that they have. And you have these lobby signs that say, please don't enter other people's rooms. I mean, it's very difficult to imagine how this could possibly work. Real security is giving each guest a key that only opens their room. So now you can define access policies in the database right next to the data and propagate end user identity and attributes so the same rules can be enforced on every query. Doesn't matter where it's coming from, any application, any agent. With simple declarative SQL, you can grant privileges. In this case, it's a simple statement that says, okay, you can only see the rows that you're authorized to see. Doesn't matter what the SQL that's generated, whether it's from an LLM or otherwise. So in our example, you can give any instruction you want to the LLM, but when it comes to when the SQL hits the database, there is only, the security is enforced there. So there is no way you can access that data. So this really gives you an ability to, confidently bring AI to the data. Now, the second layer of defense, one of the biggest challenges is making sure that your systems are up all the time. In the case of failure, which as we said, happens occasionally. With the Oracle Globally Distributed Database, you can get the resiliency and regulatory compliance very simply and automatically. This is deployed by some of the top banks, telecoms, and manufacturers around the world already. You can now take a single logical database and break it into multiple physical databases. You can put these databases across different data centers, across different countries, across different geographies. It gives you a way to scale your business almost to any level. Now, major outages would not impact your business because we have data redundancy. You can also get full data residency requirements. You can address your data residency requirements because this allows you to now keep the data for India in India or Japan or Europe in those locations without having to manually break up your database. And it's highly complicated to take a large database and break it up into multiple pieces and then manage all those databases. This happens transparently. Now you can locate the data where it needs to be with full traceability, audit, etc. We've added, again, support for exascale infrastructure. We've added support for Raft replication. So you can now get failover in under 3 seconds, virtually with no interruption. It's also AI ready with vector search and agentic workloads. Now, finally, you have to be able to recover from data loss, which again will happen eventually. With the zero data loss recovery solution, some of which, again, some of the world's leading financial institutions rely on this today. You can now prevent data loss because we continuously back up every transaction. These backups are immutable, cannot be tampered with. We have air-gapped architecture that makes it harder for your ransomware to get to these backups. It automatically supports some of the compliance regulations that banks have to deal with. It offers the fastest and most reliable recovery. This is the fastest way to recover an Oracle database, and you can do it reliably because you cannot create a bad backup. And obviously, when you restore, you're guaranteed that, almost guaranteed that it will work. Again, this is available now in the US, UK, and EU OCI government cloud regions. You can now do long-term backup on object storage, so you can make it more cost-effective. You can now back up your on-prem database to OCI in the cloud because we've really optimized the network latency and the network bandwidth requirements because we do it incrementally. Now, we talked about a bunch of reasons why you may not be able to sleep well at night. Let me give you one more while we're at it. We're entering an era where traditional encryption is no longer enough. Quantum computing creates a significant new risk. Today, we trust TLS encryption to protect data in transit, but quantum computers have the potential to break that encryption, which would expose your sensitive data if it was stolen. Basically, your data could be harvested today, fully encrypted, and stored by bad actors, and then decrypted in the future once quantum computers are able to break that encryption. So obviously, that's a big, big problem. But there is good news, and otherwise I would not have brought it up, of course. We are giving you a way to secure your data for the future. With the AI database, we have quantum-resistant encryption built directly in the database. It ensures your data is protected even if quantum computers become a reality. Now, if somebody intercepts your encrypted data on the move or at rest, they will not be able to unlock it, even in the future. It doesn't matter what kind of compute is available or what kind of technology might be available. So how do we help you minimize risk in the AI age? By giving you security that works at machine scale, resiliency by design, and the ability for continuous, always-on operations. Now, I talked about a bunch of the capabilities. I'd really like to invite a couple of our customers to share their experience who've been using this for a while. So please join me in welcoming Peter Merkert, founder and CTO of Retraced, and Christian Grupp, founder of Sphere Holdings, to the stage. Hey, hi, Hasan. Thank you. Have a seat. Thank you so much for joining us. I know you've traveled far and wide. Both of you are leaders of startups who chose the Oracle database to build and launch your businesses. So I'll start with you, Peter. You built a platform to bring transparency to the supply chain, fashion supply chain in particular. When you were designing the architecture, and what technical challenges were you facing, and what led you to choose the Oracle database?
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. So as a CTO and co-founder of Retraced, we are building a global platform for the fashion and textile industry. And one of the challenges we faced is that there's a variety of requirements we have for our customers. They've asked from different user personas accessing our platform. So what was most important for the architecture is that we have flexibility. And for that, we needed SQL, NoSQL. We talk about JSON relational duality, blockchain, immutable, spatial graph, and nowadays also all the AI features, vector search, select AI. And we make use of that through the Oracle Autonomous AI database. The convergence is the key to success in our organization, I can say. And it brings AI so close to the database and to the data that we can make most use out of it. And obviously, I don't have fragmentation. It's an ease for me as CTO to just have one database, Data is gold, and that's a key pillar to success.
Perfect. So I guess you mentioned the JSON relational duality feature. We were just talking about it. Can you tell us a little bit on what you gained from that?
Yeah, so the JSON relation duality feature, I recommend everyone to use today instantly. The reason why it's so successful for us is we are coming from a JavaScript background. I love to develop apps myself. JavaScript means NoSQL, so unstructured data. And the thing is, once we have billion-dollar revenue clients, as we do in Retraced, we need enterprise-grade relational constraint management, though. And we don't want to duplicate data. And JSON relational duality view enables me canonical data and having both perspectives to read and write on the same set of data. So it's a huge boost for productivity throughout the organization. And I don't have any more to distinguish. Do I pick one or the other? I can have both instantly.
Perfect. That's what we designed it for. Christian, let me turn to you. You work in a compliance-heavy, with highly regulated industries, many enterprise customers. What risks or what fears with AI security did you face? Maybe what kept you up at night, and how did that play to your strategy? How did that play towards picking the Oracle database?
Thank you, Hasan. Thank you, everyone. Pleasure to be here. So we work with a variety of organizations in the government space, the NGO space, as well as regulated industries like healthcare and finance. And one of the first things that we're often asked is our data secure? And that's always a critical item. It's especially important in this age of AI, where you're bringing these agents to do things autonomously. And you have to grant access to these agents. And how you do that is really, really important, because if you think about an agent, it's running with a set of credentials, and you need those credentials to give access to the data at the database layer. It has to be there. Otherwise, you're hoping that someone doesn't creatively break it out. So from a security standpoint, that's one of the top items that the database had for us, is that ability to create the zero trust architecture with security at the data layer.
So speaking of AI, I guess, Peter, you've recently begun using, I think, MCP servers, Select AI, to build and deploy AI agents. So tell us a little bit about your experience doing that, and how has that impacted your supply chain platform?
Yeah, so let me start out by saying Oracle MCP Server has leapfrogged us as an organization really in the agentic age. So the use case to start out with, to understand the benefit for us as an organization, is our users, we had programmatic dashboards, but what if, and that's what we enabled, they can ask questions in their language, just type it into the platform, and we retrieve the data from the database just with natural language prompting, and that's where Select AI came in. So this is where the journey started, because it's very easy to use out of the box, and it's just converting this natural language prompt down to PL SQL and returns the data to the user. Now, this is kind of the first step, I believe, in the AI journey, because it's just a chat. But beyond this is data to decision and shortening that bridge. I want to have actions afterwards. And that's the key to unlocking agents. And for that, I need Oracle MCP Server. So we have deployed Oracle MCP Server. It allows a secure connection to the database, our production database, read and writing. And we've already deployed an agent into our platform to just allow making use of this. This is a huge benefit for the users. And in addition, what I would like to mention, and it's the business value, internal operations, I mean, through the sky from productivity, because code generation was always about front-end and back-end. That's fast, that's good, that's solved. But what I need, if I develop features, I need database access, because I need to read data out, I need to inspect the existing tables, and I need to execute migrations. And that's now unlocked, so I can do full-stack applications with Oracle MCP out of the box, no code required.
Perfect. So the future is almost here. Christian, you mentioned, obviously you are also deep in the AI space, and you build AI agents as well. Can you tell us why you chose the AI vector database? And I think you looked at some other capabilities as well, or some other vendors. What made you choose the Oracle AI vector capability?
So for us, the reason we went with vector search on Oracle was a couple of different reasons. And first and foremost, the security, right? That same row-level security carries forward to what you're doing with vector search as well and how you protect the vectors. Additionally, the converged database we use very heavily, and that just creates a lot of simplicity. And then the third part, in terms of performance, it just far outpassed the performance we saw with a lot of the other vendors and actually had the scalability we needed. We work with large data sets. We have one client with 9 figures of terabytes of data, and we just signed up the National Health Council, and they're already using us several days later because you can ingest everything so fast and actually just be creating value pretty much over a weekend. And just the speed that you can run creates a massive impact in how you line that to business results.
Great, that's really good to hear. So, Peter, I'll come back to you. I think I heard you say that you were surprised at the level of cost savings you got through the autonomous databases auto-scaling feature. Tell us more about your experience with auto-scaling.
So yeah, I mean, auto-scaling was a huge surprise and a massive benefit for my business because by default, when we deployed the Oracle Autonomous AI database, we just set up the CPU level to be exactly on the peak period during a day. Now we are a global operating platform, 24/7, all around the clock, and our traffic, by the amount of users we have, is already following kind of the worldwide traffic patterns. And why should I deploy a database with the maximum CPUs required during a peak time? No, I actually lowered it and I just ticked the box and I said auto-scaling. And what were the impacts? I mean, thousands just saved, just by ticking a box. And I can see how much it actually auto-scales up and down the whole time. I mean, I just recommend everyone to just untoggle it and to toggle it on. And in addition to, by the way, the savings of cloud costs, I want to mention the opportunity costs I have actually received because I don't have to dedicate engineers to observe this and an observability tool to observe this, so which is error-prone again. So, I mean, it's just a gain. Just toggle it on instantly.
Perfect. So we talked about like you need infrastructure that is totally flexible, so that's great. I guess people are at different points in their AI journeys. You guys have been doing it for a while. What piece of advice would you have for our audience here? Maybe I'll start with you, Peter.
Well, I mean, CTO and co-founder, I guess every one of us wants to really focus on the product value we bring in our organization to the world. And so I want to have a worry-free infrastructure. I just want to have one box. I get everything out of it. I have auto-scaling, all the multimodality, converged databases. That's what I need. And I want to really focus every day on bringing more values to our clients and customers. And I think that's the key. I recommend everyone to just use the Oracle Autonomous AI database.
Christian?
So I have 2 things that I think are essential. The first is when we think about the big change, and everyone says SaaS is dying, and we're seeing a fundamental rearrangement around where activity is being done with agents, and that's happening not at the app layer so much, but right at the data layer. And so one of the most important things right now is master your data and master it well. Do your security once, put it at the core, and that will pave the foundation to support where activity is going to happen with your organizational records. And then the second thing, very similar to Peter, is focus on what you do and do it really well. I think with AI, learning the business, even if you're a technical person, learn the business of what you're doing, because the barrier to execution is going down more and more and more. And so as you learn the business, it allows you to create a lot more value. And then use great partners, right? Oracle has provided an amazing foundation that allows for massive transformation in very accelerated times, and great partners are essential.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure. It's great to see the product being used as we intended. Thank you very much. So before I wrap, I'd like to give you one more view. So during this session, we talked about a few very important capabilities, but there is way too much stuff in the new Oracle AI database for it to be covered in any short period of time. So I'd encourage you to find out more about everything else we have. Some of the other things that we are doing, our Apex tool, the AI-based application generator, helps you increase your velocity even further. We are building AI agents for knowledge management, for diagnostic and other uses, which can help you be even more efficient. We have things like the data safe, which lets you manage your security, the security of your entire fleet of databases at scale. So you can really secure at scale. Now, if you're wondering how you can get your hands on some of this cool stuff, it's very easy. We have the free Live Labs program, which is guided workshops in the cloud, no setup, no cost, fastest way to experiment with the new capabilities. If you want it on your own laptop or server, you can try the Oracle database free. Again, the full Oracle database, no cost, no expiration. It's perfect for learning, prototyping, developing small applications, includes everything that you saw today and what's in the database. And then don't forget some important sessions still in the conference today, and in particular, you should, in this room at 4:45, Chetan Osburton will be leading a presentation on the autonomous AI Lakehouse. And that's a very exciting new product, and I only covered it very briefly here today. Now, so we all know that AI is reshaping markets faster than any technology before it. You will have to start operating at machine scale and machine speed to be able to compete in this new age. You cannot wait for your data to be ready because it will be too late. We started with asking the question, is your data foundation ready for the AI challenge? The Oracle AI database gives you that data foundation that you need to innovate faster, to scale smarter, and to minimize risk in the AI age. Thank you so much for joining us today.